going to be significantly more difficult than the standing version. So that's why we're doing a lot fewer reps. What you want to think about is getting yourself into a good thoracic extension, shoulders pulled back. Then you can straighten your legs out, tailbones tucked, almost like you're holding an inverted plank. From here, you're going to pull your body up to your hands and come back down. Now this makes it a lot harder to do the typical kind of protract and curl the shoulders thing that we see in a lot of rows. So we're really going to emphasize shoulder blades retracted. Elbows are going to stay close to the side. Doesn't matter if you get your hands all the way to your chest. Obviously, you can do the best you can, but you don't necessarily have to get your hands all the way to your chest. So if that's as good as you can get, keeping good form, then that is fine. If you can pull yourself all the way up, hands to the rib cage, great, but doesn't necessarily have to be there. And we don't want to protract and curl up and turn into a turtle. We want to keep that nice long line and really force the back of our shoulders and our arms to do the work. Definitely have maybe the ability to reach all the way back behind you and still get some slack in the ropes. So from this position, what we're going to do is going to be very similar to a kettlebell swing in its motion. We're going to hinge our hips back. We're going to use our hips momentum to drive the ropes up and then slam them down from there. Watch my spine as I do this. You'll see a very little movement in my spine. So I don't want to become a slinky and allow this rope to pull me all over the place. The goal is to keep a nice straight spine as I drive up and slam these ropes down. Now, to make them more cardiovascular, we just increase the tempo of these slams. And they become pretty cardiovascular. Choose your rope wisely. You want to make sure that the rope isn't so hard, so heavy that we're struggling to get the ropes up overhead. If we need to, go to a lighter rope on this one. We want to grab the ball. Now you want the ball to be fairly heavy, obviously not so heavy that we can't get it up over the shoulder, but you don't want to do this with a light ball. The whole point is that we learn how to transition from a bent over position, picking up something heavy and awkward, to a position where we're standing and we're going to get into extension. So consider this almost the opposite of the hyperextension slams that we did. Now we're going to take that in reverse. So you're going to bend over, you're going to grab this bell. So you'll see that my spine is relatively straight, but if I'm pulling my belly button in, I can kind of round to get this ball. And then from here, I'm going to extend my hips, but not my lumbar spine. So I'm going to extend my hips, but I'm keeping my core muscles engaged. So that way, when I bring the ball up over my shoulder, I'm not getting this lumbar extension. Then I'll pick it up, bring it back to me, grab it, spending my hips, and then I'm dumping the ball right over my shoulder. So you're gonna come down, stand right over the bell, grab it Granny style, pick it up, drive up. I'm keeping my core muscles engaged, so that way when I extend my arms, I'm not extending my spine. But I'm coming from this hip, I'm coming over, slamming it down, slamming it down, slamming it down. So I'm not really coming into a lunge. That we'll get to that at a later date, but I just have to drop my hips just enough to be able to get that ball. So from the side, again, at the back hip, I'm coming over, slamming that ball down, down, down. And I can hinge to get it, but you see as I hinge to get it, I'm not rounding my spine to go fetch it. I'm going to hinge to get it so my spine stays straight when I pick that up. Get a ball that you can give a pretty good slam in, not a slam ball